Welcome. In this video, we'll be talking about how to find the least common multiple of two numbers. You can find this on page 10 in your ALEKS notes. So to begin, let's talk about how to find the multiples of 4 as an example. So when you were young, if you ever counted by 4s, you were actually finding multiples. So if you count by 4s, well, you start with 4 itself, then 8, then 12, then 16, 20, 24, and so on. But if I look at what each one of those numbers represents, well, 4 is nothing more than 4 times 1. 8 is 4 times 2, 12 is 4 times 3, and 16 is 4 times 4. If I kept going, what you'd find is that each one of my multiples is 4 times a positive integer. So let's take a look at how to find the least common multiple of two numbers. So the first example is finding the least common multiple of 2 and 3. So there's actually two methods that we're going to talk about. One that works well with small numbers, and another method that works better with larger numbers. So if you're working with smaller numbers, my first step is to list the multiples of each number separately. So if I list the multiples of 2, those are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. And the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. And what I'm looking for is where's the first place where these two numbers cross. In other words, where's the first multiple that they have in common? And that's really step 2. That's the final step. So step 2 is to circle the least common multiple. So what's the smallest multiple they have in common? Well, in this case, it's 6. Okay, now if I look at the number 6, this is going to actually help us to go on and do the next problem. So we're actually done with number 1. You can see that that process is very simple, and it will be so as long as your numbers are small, like 2 and 3. But if I look at the number 6, it's interesting because the number 6, if I broke it down using a factor tree, is really 2 times 3. So notice that 2, which was 2 and 3, which were the numbers we were trying to find the least common multiple for, appear as factors of the number 6. Okay, that's not a coincidence, because I know that every multiple of 2 is going to be 2 times something, and every multiple of 3 is going to be 3 times something. So the first number where they cross is going to be the number where it's both 2 times something and 3 times something. Okay, so we're going to use that fact to help us to find the least common multiple of 14 and 8, which are slightly larger numbers, and I wouldn't want to have to list all of them. So I'm going to use this little nugget of information that we learned. What we know is that the least common multiple of 14 and 8 has to be 8 times something, but it also has to be 14 times something at the same time. Just like 6 had to be 2 times something, but it also had to be 3 times something at the same time. So step 1 in the process is we're going to actually construct factor trees for both 14 and 8. So if I do a factor tree for 14, well, 14 can be broken down to 7 times 2, and neither 7 nor 2 can be broken down further, so that's as far as I can go. And if I look at 8, 8 can be broken down to 4 times 2. 2 I can't break down further, but 4 I can break down to 2 times 2, which can't be broken down further. So that means 8 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. So in step 2 of the process, this is where we're going to find the least common multiple. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply what I call multiply factors in the following way. So if I have 14, and I know that's equal to 2 times 7, I'm going to write the numbers in order from least to greatest, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, well, here's what I know about the least common multiple. I know that it has to be 14 times something. So what that means is my least common multiple has to have a 2 and a 7 as factors. The least common multiple also has to be at the same time 8 times something. Well, what that means is my least common multiple has to have 3 2's in it. Well, since I already have 1 2, all I need to do is add 2 more 2's to give me the 3 that make up 8. Okay, where's 14? Well, 14 is just one of the 2's times the 7. So you can see in my least common multiple, if I multiplied these numbers out, I would end up with 56 as the answer. And if I check 56, I have to be sure that that can be written as 8 times something and 14 times something. Well, certainly 56 can be written as 8 times 7, and 56 can also be written as 14 times 4. So what that means is that 56 is both a multiple of 8 and it's a multiple of 14 at the same time. Okay, the reason why it's a multiple of both, again, is that if I look at the number 56 broken down, you can see the number 8 as the 3 2's and 14 as the 7 times the 2.